And let's hit that record here for the YouTube. So yeah, we're gonna be building the Thai Advanced polybag. It's basically the low cost, really inexpensive sets. I love these. They're great when you want to have a thing. And let's see. Let me take a look, but let me see what I got. Stuff I got. There you go. Okay, so let's see what we got. Dinner early. Looks like Kev's having a curried trout flatbread. I will be enjoying the Game Boy, and yes, Luna, the lovely Codelex13 is the one that got me this for Christmas. This I just picked up recently, just because they're brand new. These things are brand new out. I'm intrigued because they're doing the paper style bags, for the new ones. So, let's hop right in on this one. Move the Game Boy out the way. Pull up Twitch chat. These have the perforated top. They get a little hanger. What's interesting is that like we have these, and they're paper, but if you know what's going on, they've got like a plastic layer on the inside. But what I do like about these is that they don't just get obliterated when like you open them. Like you can take and tear this open and you have all the lovely parts. And the bag isn't just falling apart now. There's the tattoo of me. Hey Mel, good to see you. Hopefully you're having fun down in the Southern California neck of the woods. I see we got the instrucciones for the Thai Advanced. Learned my lesson with the Orca to pay as much attention to the paper instructions as the digital version. And then my iPad right here where I've got the instructions here. And they don't have the digital instructions for the poly bag, but that's fine. We got these and my little bin here. Got a let's just do a little bit of a color wave sorting. Throw the black pieces over into a separate one of these little bins that I've got. Conveniently, there's the piece that I needed that I was looking for. And these are I don't know exactly what these are for, but I got them at a gaming store, and I think they're supposed to be for either miniatures or dice or whatever, but they work great for like I use them for when I'm doing my chainmail for sorting out rings, and they're great for keeping the smaller Lego pieces from just rolling all the hell over the place. Man, 8 outside in your neck of the woods. Jeez. Let me see. Mine's 51 down here in the Land of Enchantment. So we are fortunate that it's nice and, I'm not gonna say like a warm here, but it's definitely not like, dear God, why does this exist level of temperature. So how's everybody else doing today? I know it's a little bit cold out there. You knew it was going to be bad when Ted Cruz was fleeing Texas for literally anywhere else. Yeah, Luna did tell me that you got a PS5. That's gonna be great. You're gonna have to get Dead by Daylight again. Got to get it on another platform now. Okay. Only problem with that is that you can't use the same game at the same time. So if he's playing Dead by Daylight on his PS5, you can't be playing it on yours at the same time. That's one of them their restrictions. Yes, indeed. Oof. Umik chickens, a medium fry, and a large Sprite. What's that, like $50? $1,500 for that meal you had there from MacOS. 20 bucks. Yeah, it's still absurd. I don't know how I feel about the idea of spicy, uh, spicy soda. I mean, this coming from a coyote who enjoyed the flamin' hot Mountain Dew. Which I do kind of miss that being a thing. Put those in the wrong place. Filet o fish. Filet of fish. I really gotta start paying attention to the instructions as opposed to just what I think they're gonna be, and actually, following them. Yep, Lent being next month. Many a person who's spent their life growing up embroiled within the restraints of Catholicism. Yeah, that's the right. Gonna make sure I'm putting these on the right directions. Oh, that's Luna, I'm gonna be honest with you. That just sounds like you grew up Catholic, and we're gonna be difficult. Get these shifted around a little bit. Now I'm gonna make a bunch of these little side fins here. Let's Is one of the things about the poly bags is that they simplify these enough to where you end up doing the same thing a batch of times. I I grew up Catholic. Um, but had many occasions where family just kind of where like particularly my parents just kind of left that. Um, particularly after my parents' divorce. Um, that's definitely one of those things that tends to get you to stop being a devout Catholic when you're dealing with when there's divorce situations. But here we go. We got our nice, lovely, quick, easy tie advance. And yes, just as I finish it, everybody gets rickrolled. Okay, so now I actually need to pull this up. So we do actually have the Game Boy here. I'm gonna as my kind of my least favorite box opening method is the kind of the push tab rather than the sticker seal. But it's all choices made by Lego. Make you cry. And we do have, even though this is a recent set, we do actually have the poly style bags. Good old classic. Hang on, we got the box. This over to the side. We have instruction manual. The only stickers we got are the actual game labels. And I take a couple of moments to get these organized. Only 5 bags. Not the world's largest of sets. The first one that we are going to be building is going to be the cartridges. Indeed. Let's destroy Arasaka. Indeed. Corps have taken our souls. Fuck the corporations. Fuck Amazon. Fuck OpenAI. Fuck all of them. And we'll do our light sorting. So it's not full chaos. Lizard, 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 lizard. Indeed, lizards. We got our black and everything else pieces kind of separated. Another single stud there. This way we can kind of more easily sort through everything. One of the cool things is there's a stand for the one of the things that you build in this is a little stand for the extra screens, for the lenticular screens, and then to hold whichever cartridge isn't in the Game Boy. You can even see that we've got the little slot there for the game to go into. There it is. And burn it down. Yeah, you're not wrong. Amazon boxes are prime pet toys. So now we've got slot in here for our lenticulars. Our little Nintendo Game Boy screens. And we're gonna build stuff out. So how many of you had an OG Game Boy as one of your first video gaming experiences? Also, test something out. See if I can do something silly and stupid. Also, Completely unrelated, but on Tuesday the 27th, I think it's 27th is Tuesday. We will be doing a late react. Um, I was right. Just because I want to be able to have chat on some form of device. Where a Game Boy was one of the early things. Let's see what KF was saying. First console is an Atari 2600. Nice. Mine, um, my first console was Nintendo Entertainment System. Um, sorry, I don't know. Just I'm just continuing to keep my my usual just my playlist going, making my life easier to do that way. Just to have the good old standard playlist going. Get everything mushed together. Probably going to be right there where we get our. When we take this off, is going to be us building. I think this one's Super Mario Land that we're making. Yeah, because no battery. So you have all the various contacts and the PCB in there. Yep. And so we're now adding the Super Mario Land Southwest salad with fake chicken. And I'm glad that you've been eating more salads, Luna. It's I think we'll all agree that salads are good for you. Hang on, our Game Boy piece. And now we've got Super Mario Land on here. We have the lenticulars for Super Mario Land. That's Zelda. And then we have the Nintendo start screen for the Game Boy. And as per usual, once we finish a bag, we have our good old cheap, our good old inexpensive Hey, Chicken, good to see ya. Doing more Lego building today. Um, so KF, if you ever come down to Albuquerque, you're talking about good fake chicken. Gonna sound weird. I can't speak to like any of the like the brands of the other ones, but there's a vegan restaurant here called Vigo's. Um, that has one of the best buffalo chicken sandwiches I think I've ever had, and it's vegan. Um, thing about it with it is that they managed to accomplish what I think is the biggest necessity when it comes to uh vegan food being a problem and like fake meat being a problem is that like and that some of the places even here other vegan places have a problem where you sit back and there is no textural difference between the chicken or beef or whatever and the bread. And Vigo's manages 1000% to give that nice crunch and textural separate. The texture is chicken. The texture very much is chicken. So it's great. Let's take, we're gonna make a bin of gray, which there's gonna be a lot of gray in this because it's a Game Boy. And I apologize for the language and the music, but yeah, it's just part of my playlist. It's stuff that could come up during my playlist at any time, my streaming playlist. Uh, this one happens to be Ice Nine Kills. If you've never heard of them, kind of their claim to fame is doing good music, but based on horror movies and other horror properties. And yeah, Luna, I can understand that. You have particular stomach issues that make the spiciness be an issue. I have less of an issue with that. So, at least for me, it's great. But you got to admit, at least like the normal buffalo chicken or the normal chicken sandwich also still has that same textural change between the two that you tend to not end up with as frequently as you should. But yeah, Tuesday, gonna be doing a late react to uh the Dead by Daylight uh Stranger Things Part 2 dev stream. I'm gonna have that late reaction stream with Luna. Oh, on there. Gotta love when it's applying a bunch of the exact same piece over and over and over again. So what's up with your day? Why do you what's the need specifically today for a win this day, Luna? Was it a specific situation? Man, there are a lot of these pieces to apply. There we go. I don't want this little batch. That phrasing. Little bitch. Batch. Batch. Phrasing. Batch. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, your office is cluster? Your office is definitely your job has definitely been a bit of a cluster. Has anybody else had a nice win this week, or that you know can give us all a little bit of hope, or is everybody just freezing because unpredictable weather, and things are going to be bad again, as I said, when Ted Cruz is abandoning uh when Ted Cruz abandoned Texas because he didn't want to chance anything. Knew it was, it's going to be bad. There's going to be more frozen. Which Fortnite skins? Which Fortnite skin are you talking about, Luna? So you got the back of the Game Boy right there, complete with circuit board, and this is the battery cover here. I don't know why they made this connection so tenuous over here. Just like nothing holding this part on, except for two studs. But I guess that it's a choice. Oh, sorry, I got Yeah, they're gonna be doing the. They are supposed to be doing them. They might be encrypted. They might be in the next patch, as I understand it. It will be an interesting thing if they do all, in fact, come to pass. So if they are there and they do come to pass, I don't think they're going to be in mechs. I don't think they're going to do that. If they do them, I think people. I think even if they had planned it, they're scrambling to not, because after Bart, Lisa, Morty, Bart, Lisa, Morty, and the South Park kids, um, I think people are, even though the mech ones are still selling because they still want the characters, the line is being hit with that. Sorry, so just to let you guys know how I've got things set up right now for this. So I've got my iPad, which I usually have chat on, has my instructions on it. And then I have OBS a fair ways away, and then my television, which actually has chat on it. So I got to turn to check out chat. So sometimes I take a little bit of time, and I don't have a good way to scroll back. So here's the problem with that, chicken. Just to be real honest with you, I don't think Sonic has the popularity to maintain a whole season. Just to be really real with you. Not even a mini. I don't think they even have the popularity for a mini season. I wish I was wrong. I mean, I say that, and they're today releasing skins from The Office. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't know. They're I don't know. We'll see. The whole fan base is ginormous, but would the fan base. So it's kind of a matter of they need the crossover between the Fortnite fan base and the Sonic fan base, not just like how much crossover is there? Because there are a lot of Sonic fans, but how many of those Sonic fans either play Fortnite or would be willing to play Fortnite and shell out the money for that. And especially with talking about like a full season of Fortnite, you need the Fortnite. They caught hell for having a whole Star Wars season and a whole Simpsons season. Um, like, if you can't get, and Star Wars has a much larger fan base than Sonic does. Let's be realistic on that. And there's a lot more overlap between the Star Wars fan base and Fortnite than I would say there is between Sonic and Fortnite. Because, like, for them to do a whole season, they'd need the existing fans to say, we want this. So you kind of need that to start. And now we got that stability now, thanks to the side rail. Oh yeah, this is the battery cover. That's the back panel. That's right. My brain is fried on which part's which. When you got to sit back and remember. Right, but I mean that the thing is that I heard the disappointment too. I was disappointed also. But I mean, it's a matter of like they also have to work with Sega. And Sega is not exactly long-term known for it's like one of the channels that got me into Twitch, kind of funny. They literally have a weird Nintendo decisions emote. And the thing is, Sega makes weirder decisions than Nintendo does. Like, Nintendo was in negotiation with Epic to have Nintendo skins in Fortnite, like Samus and that, but they canceled that because Epic wouldn't restrict the skins to being only visible on Nintendo consoles. Because they're like, we want these. Now, and so, I mean, Sega's not making those kind of weird decisions, but Sega's the one that said cars and shoes. That's not Epic. That's Sega that did that. Epic will get money however the heck they can get money. They will do everything they can. Like, that's why they're going to have, and this is where it's going to get really funny here in the next, like, little bit. In the next couple of weeks, we're getting Luna Snow, most likely, and Magic from in their Rivals skins. In Fortnite. And then, theoretically, next season, we're going to get Overwatch skins. And like for them to do a whole season would literally require them to start making the plans for a season well in advance. This year is already planned out. The mini seasons, the full size seasons, all of that that's already mapped out. Like they're not pulling a collaboration season just out they took us. I love putting in the actual like circuitry in here. And this does feel like the right size for the classic Game Boy. And I really do enjoy that. It might be a little smaller, but not super much. Like when we do all this, have the Super Mario Land here in the back. The first time I got to see this in person and assembled was John at my local game lounge. Had his copy at the shop at the lounge. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Luna, if you're able to, can you give a shout out to Birdgas64 to John? At least you should be able to. Thank you very much. John is the owner. He does occasionally stream on Twitch, but he's also the owner of New Game Plus here in Albuquerque. The game lounge that we've one of the better game lounges we've had here in Albuquerque. He doesn't necessarily stream a huge amount on Twitch, but he is around. He during the early days of the lockdowns back a number of years ago, to try and he used to be the owner of Gamers Anonymous, the independent game reseller next to New Game Plus. And during the era of Ligma, so that he could still have his shop operating, he would do game auctions first on Facebook, and the delay was abhorrent because Facebook streaming wasn't still is horrible. But then I convinced him to come over to Twitch. Um, yeah, and so that was how things how he started that, and now he'll occasionally hop on, do various Nintendo and other game streams. We get our places for power switch and volume control, volume and brightness on here. I need to step for just a moment. More plastic baggies to get this set. Should be able to get take the camera a little bit. Yeah, just all the ones that I need for the rest of this. John is great. John is, uh, you know, really super nice guy. Um, yeah. Oh, let's put that over there. We do have some extra bits. That's the reason why I mean, we do it anyway, but why we definitely need to get the new baggy set. Man, these bins have actually doing these have helped a lot for my chaos build style with my current setup. Definitely been helpful. There's I'll lay down, get our bag 3. Yeah, so when all is said and done, we're gonna be making 2. We have the Super Mario Land cartridge, and we're gonna be making a Legend of Zelda cartridge too. That's why. So we've got lenticular wise for these. We have then the Game Boy startup with a Nintendo logo. We have Mario jumping from Super Mario Land. And then we have Link and Zelda from Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Because we will end up building both game cartridges. Because if you couldn't swap them, they wouldn't have made it so you can swap them. And notice that we're building this empty. There's no cartridge in here. And LEGO's going to want that stability. It's made so that you can always have a cartridge in there. We got our little mini bags. We call the Muppet Show. Do we actually have some cloth in here? What the heck? There's no minifigures in here that I know of. No. Oh, okay. A rubber band, which is surprisingly a rare actual LEGO manufactured rubber band. Kept safe and secure in a nice little box. I need to get back to this anime to watch more of it. The first episode was a little out there, but started to enjoy it a little bit later on. I am, however, gonna skip this one. There we go. Yeah. Starting to put more. Start putting pins in here. I think so we can start getting the face built on here and get things rotated in the right direction. Ah, good old dropped frames. Haha, frame drops. Which I'm apparently getting a lot of. Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, not every anime has to be your vibe. I think it's entertaining enough that I want to see where the story is going. Let's go with that. I want to see where it's going. There are other animes that I like decidedly less that people seem to think have a similar vibe. But I mean, it is what it is. I just kind of want to be able to have a consistency of being able to understand the stuff that I'm winning Crane Game prizes of. If that makes sense. And I do love that we got the printed Game Boy pieces. The speaker. I can tell that we're getting like the D-pad, the headphone plate. These little tires function as the start and select buttons. Here is... There's the piece I need. There you are. Little rubber piece. We'll see where that goes, where this all ends up working to. And this song got brought back to my brain thanks to the Warframe 1999 kind of expansion thing. And I do plan to go and play some Warframe. I used to play quite a bit and just kind of fell off for a while. Okay, looks like this is the D-pad. It's looking like what we're building right now. Or at least the underneath of it. On the way to the station. Da, da. Da, da. My head of the final destination. Da, da. Da, da. Myself, but myself keep slipping away. And then this, just for the purposes of reversing the direction of these, it just kind of sits in there. Not connected to anything other than just friction and what's going to go on top of it to lock everything down. Bum, bum. Let's send my scratches. Some complications in my chest. And shine all day. Myself, but myself keep slipping away. Oh, but myself keep slipping away. What's funny is that nobody is going to hear this in the VOD, so it's just me singing along badly to music that nobody's going to hear in the VOD or on YouTube. But I think that's what's gonna occasionally amuse y'all is the after effects of just what I have to do Prevent copyright strikes. Ha ha! Copyright. We'll see where this ends up in the whole thing. Ah! We're going to be putting in our start and select wedges. Actually printed on there. Select. Blank. Start. I do like the start and select not having to actually, like, put a damn sticker on there. Boy, that'd be rough. That on here. And it's going to go in probably right here, I'm going to guess. See if I'll have to see if I'm right. I think I am. And then on Wednesday, this is going to be done off stream, but I'm finally going to be making a kind of a channel intro video, channel chit chat intro video, for the tubes of you, and then an offline. The stream is offline video here for the channel, which I've never made one before, so it's gonna be a first ever on the channel. Because it's stuff I've never thought about, and now I'm starting to sit here and go, well, I guess I should have that, so I'm not just having effectively dead space. Trying to do what I can to take things serious. And we got that's our headphone jack right there. That's what that is. And in fact, there's our plate telling you that it's the headphone jack. We're starting to get the smooth front of the Game Boy. And just like I figured, it's going to slot right in here. And that pin over here is going to be what holds this in place until we start getting stuff that kind of locks it all together. Some of these kind of things. A lot of interesting techniques to have everything switching directions all willy-nilly. You come over here. Oh, look! It's the old start music. Yeah, not quite. At least not this time. Now we're putting these in, which I suspect are going to go up here. I suspect that this is going to go in here so that we can put the tire in there for the start and select button. I'm just guessing. Let's see if I'm right. Oh, look, I am. This mounts in here. And then that's going to give us little slots that these will eventually go into. We're not to that point in the instructions, but, you know. Sometimes you look and you go, this is what makes sense for here. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum. Dun, 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 dun. Ba, ba, dun, ba. And more clippies in here. I think this is to hold the part that holds the, I think this right here. So these go in here. And I think this is the fork that holds the thing that holds this in place. So it doesn't kind of flop around. Thanks for that alert, the no camera chicken. I love that nobody who's here right now, including Luna, knows why I've got that no camera emote. That one actually came about as a result of a gaffer I've worked with. When he was hanging out in the stream one day in the days. When I was streaming directly from my PS4, and that no camera is what you get when you get a blocked scene on a PS4 on stream. And for some reason, I like to play games that did that, and I way too frequently wouldn't notice that I'd reached a blocked scene. And so that came up not super frequently, but more than zero. And so, running joke, haha. Now we got our D-pad locked in. Strangely feels actually pretty decent for a D-pad. Weird is it gonna sound. Yeet! That up there. Now I'm gonna start making buttons. Gotta have them buttons. Bum, 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 bum. Ah, there's the other one. Haha! Button! We got the two buttons here. And put that guy there. That guy there. Those our buttons. It is, but it's really good. And I love this version of it. It's kind of one of those things where there was a lot of shit that occurred because of the company that all these VTubers were a part of. And with the original singer of this song. And I don't know why, but for some reason, just everything had to. Yeah. Okay, so now we get to put the rubber band on between all of the. So this is how we're going to end up having our buttons able to work. See, the buttons have the rubber band behind them. They're pushed back. They're pushed up, but then they've got a little bit of a tension there. And I'm hoping I haven't used any wrong pieces along this path. Let me drop this section in here. It kind of latches in over here. It's got studs over here that it locks into. So you put it in, you can drop it in here, and then it's got a stud here and then two over here that it kind of just rests onto. Clutch power. So you have the D-pad, the A buttons. Stop fighting me. I want your photo. You never see it coming. Arise, a man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of the things I love with especially this set so far is we're like, if you look at how things have been, when you dismantle this, it looks like the circuit boards on the inside of an actual Game Boy. You're actually getting like it's not just that, but like, why does that black piece need to be there? Well, because that's the back of the speaker that's right there. Like, that's the reason why. Like, there's no like functional piece-wise purpose why that has to be there. It's just when you dismantle it, it's nice to know that behind that is a speaker. Behind that little speaker grill is a speaker. And like the board, the green that you see is board, like circuit boards that you'd see in an actual Game Boy. I appreciate that. The little thing. Do this wrong. Yes, it did. There. Ah! I'm building out that curve right there. I mean, it's of course a little sharper along these edges than an actual OG Game Boy. But I mean, it's Lego. It was about the right size. And the shape. We're adding more circuit boards. Again, does this need to be green? No. Is there a circuit board panel there? Yes. This thing could have on the inside just been all gray and black and or whatever miscellaneous color, but Lego went through and said, "Hey, let's make it have the vibe once you take everything apart." Now that we've got these pieces done, and so that's the end of bag 3 there. It's time to make our new bag 3. And yeah, that's a good question from the bot. Would you voluntarily have a part of your body replaced with a high-tech prosthesis that has function at least equal to baseline function? So, what I mean by that is even if you have glasses, it's not that the prosthetic, like replacement eyes, would function like your current eyes and you're still going to have to wear glasses, but it would function like a baseline normal human eyes kind of thing. That's what I mean by that. That's what it means by that particular question. If that makes sense. And back, neck, spine, eyes. You can pretty much go anywhere with what you'd have replaced, if you wanted to. Like, I'll be very honest, mine would be my eyes, because I mean, look at those, look at those. I can't see a damn thing without those Coke bottles. In this part, where it's actually now officially calling for in the instructions. Yeet! And like this is the arm that holds this into place. Again, I know this because I've seen the one that John has. And I gotta see there, I gotta make sure, even though this is the flat piece, it's got printed on there. We need to make sure we're grabbing a different one. Because there's gonna be one that doesn't have the printing on it. And like I said, here we go. We got the little bar there. And it is interesting trying to figure out what they decide to put in the little bag and what they decide to put in, just leave loose in the big bag. Well, you see, we're doing circuitry and all of that kind of thing in here. And like variations of the gray. I mean, like, here we go. We're getting the dot matrix sound. Contrast, nothing. We got the on off here. This is going to be back here. Where? I don't know. I forget. Sometimes I forget the layout of the original Game Boy. Hmm. Okay, now we're reversing directions thanks to these pins. And we're getting this in here, and this is going to function as our power switch to turn the Game Boy on and off. Over here. No, it was up here. That's right, it was up here. Because there was always a latch that covered the notch. Trying to remember how everything was laid out. Wrong color. Yeah. So now we're getting the front of the screen and the power switch. And there was a tab that came out here when you flipped the power switch on that locked the cartridge in. So you had to turn it off to take the cartridge out. They got rid of it on the Pocket and the Color, and that's why the Color cartridges didn't have that notch in them. Because it also prevented you from trying to use a Game Boy Color game on a original Game Boy. It didn't stop plenty of people from trying, but it at least made it a little harder. And see, we'll have the And one. And now we got the battery. We can have our battery light to let you know that you were operating off a battery and what level it was at. Going nowhere. Oh, yeah, I forgot something. Supposed to be that there. And then that'll go there. Now we've got our screen in place. Yeah. Got our dial here. Nice clicky dial by what we've got inside there. Got some music from Us Cracks. Here we got our contrast. Yep, that's not the right one. Again, this one's got the printed volume. I tried to use it. Got to catch yourself on occasion. We got another clicky wheel. As this one goes in here. This piece goes slots right in there, and we get that nice curve. So we've got the whole screen in there. Our volume. Our exterior, our extension connector. And we take this part off, drop that down. Bling, bling. And that's the end of that bag. So we'll get our bag 4 labeled up. Bullshit. And on to our last bag. And Luna was asking about the Zelda sticker. Well, here's where we're going to start building the Zelda cartridge. Take all the black pieces. And get them separated so that, like I said, I don't knurl, but, you know, at this point, I figure I might as well do a little more organizing than I usually do. It's not a full chaos build. Just a semi-chaos build. This is going to make a stand for the Game Boy. So you can display it. Exactly like I said. But I do need to shift that over a little bit. Now, one of the other cool things is that on the inside of the Zelda cartridge, Legend of Zelda had a battery for your saves. And it's been pointed out by a lot of people that, like, there's a reason why we have this printed piece as part of the Zelda build. And these are the contacts that you'd use that it uses to actually seat that actually the console that the Game Boy actually reads things through. Mm-hmm. And we continue to have the green circuit board. Shift the empty bin over to the side. And then we're starting to make it look like a cartridge. And now I'm just soldering the battery. that's how your game was saved on the original Game Boy Legend of Zelda. That good old battery there. And as I pointed out earlier, all the detail covered right up. And Luna earlier was asking, am I going to be using that Zelda sticker? There we have that. And of course, right on time, headset turns off. And here we go. And then cover up the sides and the top to make it a full cartridge. And Legend of Zelda inside the Game Boy. Pop it out. And if we want to have the actual Legend of Zelda screen in here with the game in, and we can store that extra screen in there. And there we go. Another couple of successfully completed LEGO builds. Like the LEGO Nintendo Game Boy in its stand, complete with Legend of Zelda. And Mario. And then the just Nintendo Game Boy starting up screen. Okay. So now that I got that all set and tidied, the only shame for me, personally, is the original Game Boy came packaged with the original Tetris. These were the quintessential other games to have, but it always came with Tetris. Okay. So, I am going to, at this point, so I can step away and get everything tidied. I'm going to go AFK for a little bit, and then I will be back with something else. I'm not sure exactly what right now, but I will be back with, yep, we're all set. Here we got, there's the Super Mario Land. There's Legend of Zelda. And if you take off the label on Legend of Zelda, you can even see the game save battery right there. Zelda. We have Game Boy itself and its stand. And then inside the game cartridge display stand, let's put Zelda on here for now. Pop in Super Mario Land. They drop it miserably. And the stand kind of rests in the headphone port for stability. And I would love if eventually they sat back and just like, for like $15 or so, like released, like, come out with Tetris or other, like the other classic Game Boy games that you'd have had. The buttons feel strangely nice. Even these, what's funny is that these are just a tire pressed into a slot. And then we also have the tie advance that we did. It's the little poly bag. Okay. So like I said, I am gonna go AFK for a little bit. And I will be back with something else. We'll see what it's gonna be. I do love the nice satisfying click of the on-off switch on here. So I shall be back.